Why do we still teach VOR? Every plane has GPS equipped these days, and it's so outdated and overly complicated. The FAA is phasing many stations out anyways. You've heard these arguments, right? So why do we still bother? Sure, in the event of interstellar war, our GPS satellite constellation could be knocked out, or more earthly issues like a bad receiver could make your GPS unusable. But it could also just be because VOR navigation is great for keeping your situational awareness sharp. This video will serve as your one-stop guide to all things VOR for the instrument Checkride. We're going to do a VOR approach into Georgetown, Delaware, including flying the published mist and a VOR hold. We're in a Cessna 152 navigating direct to the Waterloo VOR, the initial approach fix for the approach into runway 22. We'll use ForeFlight and our geo-reference position, not to cheat, but just to give you, the viewer, some added context for the flight. Let's do an abbreviated approach brief. First, we have the Waterloo VOR tuned to our nav1. We're navigating direct to the station with about a 115 degree setting on the OBS. The to from indicator shows 2, and we're working to keep the needle centered. The approach plate has a hold in lieu of procedure turn depicted at the VOR. We'll treat this as the same as any hold entry. We're going to make a parallel entry into this hold. This means when we pass the station and the flag flips from to from, we're going to turn outbound, a heading of 033 degrees. Following the 5 T's model of turn, time, twist, throttle, talk, we're going to start timing 1 minute outbound. We have an analog clock right in the center of the panel. Next, we're going to twist our OBS setting. What do we twist to? It'll be the inbound course we need to follow in the racetrack procedure, 213 degrees. Why don't we set the OBS to the 033 degrees that we'll be flying when we're outbound? It's because we're not following any guidance from the VOR flying outbound. There's no requirement to fly exactly on the line depicted as we fly the opposite direction. In fact, we shouldn't be right on that line, but actually a bit outside of it to the right during the parallel entry to give us room to intercept when we turn inbound. The only guidance we follow in holds is the inbound course. You could think of the outbound leg the way you think of waiting in line at a water park to go down the big slide again. Where the line forms doesn't matter, as long as you find your way to the top of the slide again. Okay, so after 1 minute has passed, we're going to start a left turn to intercept the inbound course of the hold. A 45 degree intercept angle is appropriate. The inbound course is 213 degrees, so we should fly about a heading of 170 to intercept. We'll ignore the last 2 T's and the 5 T's, throttle and talk, for this tutorial. From there, we're going to track inbound along the 213 course we set up on the OBS. When the flag flips from to from again, we're going to configure for the approach with power settings and gear and flap configurations appropriate for your aircraft. Let's think through the 5 T's, which we'll do again once the flag flips from to from. We'll turn to the approach course, 234 degrees. We'll time the approach. We're doing just under 90 knots ground speed on the approach. The plate says that at 90 knots, it'll be 6 minutes and 28 seconds to go from the FAF to the map. Here comes the flag flip, so as we start our configuration changes in turn, we'll note the time. It's 12 minutes and 15 seconds. Adding the 6.5 minutes to that means we should go mist at 19 minutes. The next T is twist. We'll want to twist our OBS to the approach course of 234 degrees, working to keep the needle centered. We're descending down to 680 feet. There are lower minimums of 440, which we could descend to if we were able to identify the OT bay fix. We would use DME to identify that, which we don't have equipped, so we'll use the higher mins. We level just above 680. We'll gain sight of the runway, but we're going to do the full mist procedure here. When we get to 19 minutes on the clock, we go full power and begin the climb out. The mist procedure has us climbing straight ahead to 800 feet, then starting a left turn as we climb to 3000. We're going to be going direct to the Waterloo VOR again, so we twist the OBS until the needle centers with a 2 indication. We'll be flying about a 055 heading to the station, where we'll do the hold. Another parallel entry would work fine here, but let's do a teardrop on this one. The teardrop will involve us flying to the VOR, once the flag flips, turning 45 degrees off the outbound heading, or about 350 degrees. We'll have that turn be our first T. The second T will have us start our 1 minute time. We'll twist the OBS. Again, it's the inbound course. We want 213, not the outbound heading. When the minute's up, we make a right turn inbound at 213. If we did everything right and wind didn't throw us off, we should smoothly intercept the needle. Once we're wings level, it should take us 1 minute to fly inbound to the station to see the flag flip. When it does flip, let's go through the 5 T's. We'll begin our outbound turn to the right, 033 degrees. Our time won't start now, but when we're abeam the station, Our twist won't happen. We're going to leave the OBS on 213. Remember, we only care about guidance for the inbound leg of a hold, not the outbound leg. We'll know we're abeam the station when the flag flips back to 2. We start timing 1 minute. After the 1 minute, we make our turn back inbound. All turns should be standard rate, especially in these holds. When we're wings level, we might time our inbound leg again. This leg should take us 1 minute. If it takes us more or less time due to wind, we would alter the time we fly outbound to try to compensate. So that's the crash course on VORs for the instrument check ride. We looked at a full VOR approach and a missed with a hold. We ignored wind drift corrections on this one, but we go into that as well as other advanced VOR and other navigation topics on our full IFR course, which you can check out at flight-insight.com/IFR.